Just because I lost the wedding ring and as a punishment to teach me a lesson, my fiancé, the CEO, called off our wedding and announced in public that she would marry her assistant. But on the wedding day, I found the lost ring on the assistant's hand. Before I could question him, the assistant burst into tears, claiming I was framing him because I didn't like him. To prove his innocence, he dramatically handed in his resignation. To keep him happy, my fiancé went all out, held a company-wide meeting, and publicly criticized me for being jealous and unworthy of my position. She said she'd take away all my shares to compensate for the assistant's emotional distress. Otherwise, she threatened to truly leave me for the assistant, leaving me with nothing. The whole room gasped in shock, and I could feel the sympathetic stares aimed at me. Everyone guessed I would again yield to my fiancé's whims. But this time I didn't. I simply clasped my hands together and said, "Well, I wish the two of you a long and happy life together." As soon as I finished speaking, my fiancée, Mandy, was stunned. Her face quickly contorted in anger, and she slammed a contract down on the table, shouting, "Gavin, what's with the sarcasm? You make a mistake and don't even know how to repent. Do you believe I can't fire you and throw you out of the company right now?" Whispers surrounded me as people pointed and gossiped. They were used to such scenes by now. It's not the first time. Despite being Mandy's boyfriend, she never hesitated to scold me whenever someone felt I was out of line. After all, even though I was Mandy's boyfriend, whenever someone disliked me, she'd call me out. Over time, I've lost all respect in the office. However, she was never satisfied. Later, she deliberately posted distorted videos of me online. Even though I quietly assisted her in building the company, those videos led to people calling me a useless and arrogant husband online. Naturally, the live stream comments exploded, criticizing me from every angle. The assistant, Larry, couldn't hide his smirk. After a moment, he leisurely approached to end the live stream and persuaded Mandy. "Mandy, don't be impulsive. I've already forgiven Gavin. Regardless of what Gavin did, he's still your boyfriend. I don't want any conflict between you two because of me." A hint of complexity passed through Mandy's eyes. Maybe she regretted her harsh words earlier. But hearing Larry, she scoffed and looked at me with disdain. "He just relies on being my boyfriend and my indulgence for his childishness. Gavin, don't you think I'm right?" She sneered at me. I internally laughed, not wanting to argue anymore. No matter what I said, she'd only dig her heels in more, accusing me of being unreasonable. My silence made her think I was admitting fault, and she finally ended the meeting. Once everyone left, she sighed deeply at me. "Gavin, I'm genuinely disappointed in you for not only refusing to amend for your mistakes, but also for embarrassing me at the meeting." She used this line every time she criticized me. I used to believe her, always reflecting on my errors. But later, I realized that whenever I reflected, I fell into her trap, and she would take her punishment further and further. What did I do wrong? I calmly asked. "You already held the wedding. What did I say that was so wrong?" She seemed taken aback by my tone, then mocked, "Calling you petty isn't far off. That wedding was just a publicity stunt, not a real marriage. After all, we hyped it for a year. What does it look like if it didn't culminate in an actual wedding? Honestly, you should thank Larry for this. He went out of his way to recover that wedding ring. Since you were away on a business trip, he even took on the groom's role to help me out. Honestly, you weren't even half as invested as he was. Where do you get off throwing a fit?" Mandy argued confidently, and I couldn't help but laugh. I had financed and arranged the entire wedding, spending 3 months setting it up, from hotel decor to candy choices. Initially, she had handed the ring to Larry for safekeeping, saying I had too many responsibilities and might mess up. I objected, but she overruled me, accusing me of not trusting her. When the ring was lost, I sourced a backup at the last moment, yet she scolded me for treating the matter lightly before storming off. I held back my emotions, calming down friends and family. Hadn't even had a moment to catch my breath before she sent me off on another business trip. But now, she continued to throw all blame on me. Let's not even mention Larry wanting to marry her. Everyone knows. She's the only one playing dumb. As long as Larry wants to hide the ring, I'd never find it even if I turned the whole city upside down. Maybe before I would argue, but I'm exhausted and done discussing issues she understands but refuses to face. Mandy, don't be mad at Gavin. I offered to help, Larry interjected as he returned. Entering the meeting room, he naturally gravitated to Mandy's side. I've been with this company so long. It's like my home. What's Gavin's is mine too, he said to Mandy with a smile, but then added, I just didn't expect Gavin to be so upset. I'll take the blame for this. Hearing this, Mandy's gaze softened with sympathy for Larry. Larry, you're so mature. She sighed and turned to glare at me. Gavin, don't you see Larry's attitude? Why can't you learn from him? I didn't respond. She has always protected Larry. Larry didn't have the credentials to even interview with us, but Mandy made an exception against all odds. Many times, Larry's mistakes were passed on to me, as everyone knew Mandy favored him. So they'd often scapegoat me for Larry's errors. I don't know what I'm supposed to learn from Larry, just like I don't know what I should say now. Mandy sighed again. Enough, I won't waste my breath. You've slandered Larry, causing rumors to spread around the company. Thankfully, he's a strong-willed guy and remained unaffected. We've always taken care of our employees, so to make it right, sign this contract. She slapped a stock transfer document down in front of me. You don't deserve your position anymore. You've got no right to hold onto the company shares. You should hand them over to someone more capable. Larry's eyes lit up, but he played coy. How could that be right? Why not? It's what you deserve. Mandy spoke firmly. I almost laughed from the absurdity. This company only exists because I put up the startup money and worked around the clock to secure investments and manage projects. Now she comes along and thinks she can just hand over all my hard work to someone else with a single sentence. I let out a cold laugh and picked up the contract. Mandy thought I was giving in, and there was a hint of satisfaction in her eyes. Larry, on the other hand, watched my hand intently, his eyes betraying his excitement. As both of them watched, I ripped the contract in half. Then I pulled out my phone and called the police. Mandy's eyes were glued to my fingers. Seeing I was dialing, she quickly snatched the phone from me, hanging up the call. Gavin, why are you calling the police? She asked angrily. Her voice had an edge of guilt. She knew she wasn't in the right. I found it funny. Didn't you accuse me of slandering Larry? Let's call the cops now and see who's really at fault. And while we're at it, they can help investigate the missing ring case. There are cameras everywhere, should be easy enough to solve. Panic flashed in Larry's eyes for a moment. Mandy tried to say something, but Larry interrupted her, whispering, Let it go, Mandy. We're all colleagues here. No need to involve the cops and embarrass ourselves. Mandy looked at him with pity and at me with growing annoyance. Finally, she tapped my forehead, scolding, Gavin, you're getting nastier by the day. Be grateful that Larry's mature enough not to stoop to your level. The mature Larry gave me a glare when Mandy wasn't looking and then turned to her. I'll get back to work, Mandy. You can talk to Gavin. With that, he left. Watching him walk away, I could almost imagine the smug smile on his face. He knew Mandy wasn't just going to chat. She was going to lash out on his behalf. Indeed, as soon as the door closed, Mandy began criticizing me for not measuring up to Larry, saying I'm becoming more petty with age, not as mature as the younger guy. When she wore herself out, she brought up the diamond ring from our wedding, speaking earnestly. Do you really think I'm favoring him? I'm doing all this for your own good, Gavin. I want you to rest and keep the company thriving with talented people on board. She tried to put the ring back on my finger. Looking at her gentle facade now, I would have believed her once. But I knew better now. It's just a sweet offer after a harsh blow. I snickered softly and pulled away instinctively. Is an incompetent Mandy, who lost the company over $8 million, a talented person? Should I be the one taking a break? Or is it you? She flushed with anger but held back. If that's how you feel, then we have nothing more to discuss. She threw the ring at my face and stormed out. I knew this was her way of starting a cold war. Every time she's in the wrong, she uses this tactic to make me admit fault. But this time I wasn't anxious or afraid. I didn't try to patch things up with her. I simply glanced at the ring she threw and walked out. That night, Mandy didn't come home until after midnight. Meanwhile, Larry posted something on the company group chat. The new luxury car Mandy gifted looks amazing. Hard work really pays off, folks. Keep going and you'll get there too. The post showed him grinning beside a limited edition car with Mandy proudly standing by him, arm around his shoulder, eyes filled with admiration. Colleagues flooded the comments with likes and congratulations. Mandy responded with a cute emoji. This is a reward for your outstanding performance. You truly deserve it. I wish certain people could learn from you. No guesses needed. That was meant for me. I knew Mandy was trying to make me jealous and force me to apologize. A male colleague couldn't resist and messaged me privately. Gavin, what's going on? Weren't you and Mandy super in love? This guy was one of the first to grind with us, but he left the company to start a family. I had recently brought him back on board. His message made me nostalgic. Back then, Mandy and I were truly in love. She'd stay up for days by my sickbed, rush across counties after a week of nonstop work just to buy my favorite fruit, and put on elaborate birthday surprises like gifting me a luxury car in the bustling city. That car and our love are now over 10 years old, long worn out. I didn't reply. I just continued packing my stuff. I was leaving, so there was no need to keep anything. I sold what I could, trashed what I couldn't, until only the photos were left. After some thought, I lit a fire in a small burner and began burning the pictures one by one. That was when Mandy walked in, smiling and texting on her phone. She saw me, forced a scornful expression, and asked disdainfully, "What are you up to? Not sleeping in the middle of the night? Got nothing better to do?" I could see she was still mad her tactic failed. Back in our loving days, she'd stay out late with friends. I couldn't go, but I knew she was afraid of the dark, so I'd keep the lights on, fighting sleep while waiting for her in the living room. She'd return, hugging me, calling me thoughtful. Love and indifference are easy to see. I didn't explain, just kept burning the photos. Mandy never liked taking pictures, so many were taken after much persuading on my part. I thought she wouldn't care, but then she took the photos from me, examining each one. "When did we take these?" "I don't remember them." Her tone softened a bit, surprised. "This profile shot turned out well. Who took this photo? Why does this one look funny? You look like a cute little fox. Gavin, you were so adorable back then. All chubby cheeks and lovable." She reminisced to herself, a smile creeping onto her lips. I didn't join in. After a few seconds of silence, she seemed to remember our standoff, cleared her throat, and frowned. "What did you burn those photos for?" "We don't need them anymore," I said casually. "All right, don't think I don't know what's going on in your mind." Mandy smirked, stood up, and shoved the photos back into my hands. "You did this on purpose, didn't you? Just to get my attention. Stop sulking. Tomorrow afternoon, bring your ID. Let's go to the marriage registry." Her tone was arrogant. It was like getting married to me was a huge favor to bestow. I chuckled, tossed the rest of the photos into the fire. The last bit of good memories was gone. Mandy frowned instantly. "What are you doing?" "Mandy, Before I could finish, her phone rang. Seeing the call, Mandy's eyes lit up. She walked straight into the bedroom to answer. Laughter seeped through the door. I waited outside, staring at the ashes of the burned photos. Just like our relationship. It took almost half an hour for her to come out, smiling. "Something came up at work. I gotta step out. Probably won't be back until late." She tried to sound as nonchalant as possible. But I knew the call was from Larry. She's used the work excuse to meet Larry many times over the years. I didn't call her out, just nodded. She went back to change clothes and sprayed on perfume. One phone call and she forgot about me and the photos I burned. "Hey, what were you gonna say earlier?" she asked suddenly as she was about to leave. "I can sell the shares to Larry at market price. See if he's interested," I said after a pause. Mandy looked pleasantly surprised. "You serious?" I nodded. She quickly came over, held my face, and kissed me hard. "You're being so good today. I knew you cared about me. I'll let him know later then." As soon as the words left her mouth, she realized they sounded wrong and added, "I'll call him." I pretended not to notice the slip. Disgusted, I wiped the saliva off my face. The sooner the better before I change my mind. Mandy acknowledged and left, humming a tune. In less than half an hour, a text came saying Larry agreed to buy the shares. I wasn't surprised. The company's doing well. The shares are worth a lot more now. Even if he didn't have the money, Mandy would help him out. It's like getting free shares, he wouldn't pass it up. Mandy didn't come home that night. Maybe they were celebrating. But in the middle of the night, I got a call from her. Half asleep, I answered. I heard her heavy breathing before Larry's cheerful voice came on. Mandy, you don't like Gavin anymore. Why get married? A couple of seconds later, Mandy responded sharply. We've been together for 10 years. Plus, he's already given up the shares. It's not the right time to break up. Don't ruin the mood now. The call ended. I looked at the screen, knowing Mandy wasn't aware of it. It was Larry's way of taunting me. This has happened plenty before. Telling Mandy did no good. She trusts Larry more than me. I even guessed she'd change her mind about getting the license tonight. I put my phone down, went back to sleep, continued packing the next day. As expected, Mandy came home looking tired and windswept by evening. Gavin, I had something urgent. Couldn't make it to the marriage registry. You're not mad, are you? There was a faint scratch on her neck. The urgency was obvious. I shook my head. Not mad. I was prepared. Didn't go anyway. Good. I drafted the contract for the share transfer. Let's wrap this up. Mandy handed me the contract with a smile. Maybe afraid I'd change my mind out of anger, she seemed a bit anxious. I ignored it, signed after checking the terms. Once done, she seemed relieved. She quickly got a lawyer to finalize everything. What took nearly a week before was done in half an hour. Shares transferred to Larry, money in my account. All settled. Mandy was happy. Even looked at me with newfound warmth. Why do you look so worn out? I plan to go get the license tomorrow, but since you've been so good, we can do it today. She laughed, pinching my cheek. Excited? I slapped her hand away, said nothing, turned to grab the suitcase I'd packed. Mandy didn't get it. What are you doing, planning the honeymoon? Gavin, I agreed to marry you, but I can't do a honeymoon now. I'm busy. It's not a honeymoon. I interrupted. I'm leaving. Mandy, we're breaking up. Breaking up? Mandy was stunned, then laughed. You're joking, right? I get it. You're annoyed about the shares? But you sold them to Larry, you got the money. Stop acting like a martyr. She laughed, treating the breakup like a joke. I sighed. It's not about the shares. Then what is it? Mandy thought. Because I didn't get the marriage license? Gavin, don't be petty. I explained. I really had to deal with something. Before she could finish, a sound rang out. From Mandy's pocket. Her face went stiff. She quickly pulled her phone out, turning the ringer off. Silence fell over the room. But I remained calm, looking at her nervous embarrassment. It seemed she didn't know about the ringtone switch. It had to be another prank from Larry. Gavin. Mandy started, but I was done listening to excuses. I know. I heard what you and Larry talked about last night. Breaking up is best for both of us. Faced with the truth, I thought Mandy would agree. But instead, she grabbed my hand suddenly. She looked at me with a bitter smile. I get it, it's because of Larry. I'll move him to a different department so you won't see him. I never considered leaving you. We have 10 years together. Let's not end like this. I really do want to marry you. Larry was just a momentary thing. Look, I planned on getting the license today. She showed me a booking confirmation at the marriage registry. She did book it in advance. I believed she truly meant to get married, but intentions change quickly. Her saying she wouldn't leave me now doesn't mean she won't run to Larry the next. I took out my phone, handed it to her. But I genuinely wanted to leave, and I've already bought a ticket to go home. I booked it a month ago and canceled it several times before finally making up my mind. Mandy stared at the ticket, motionless, frozen in place. Disappointment builds over time. Mandy. Our love died when Larry showed up. It's just now being buried. Let's just stop right here. No more torturing each other. Mandy covered her face, her eyes starting to redden. I was just confused for a moment, But I never planned to break up with you. I never thought there'd be a breakup. Please just give me another chance, will you? Give me a chance to make things right. She grabbed my hand. I pulled my hand away hard, not looking at her again, and pulled my suitcase out the door. When I reached the corner, I looked back at the home I had lived in for years, where I should have had feelings. After Mandy neglected me because of Larry, I had played out leaving countless times in those painful late nights. I imagined how I'd feel when I left someday. I thought I'd be devastated, so crushed I couldn't stand, heartbroken to the point of bawling. Otherwise, how could I justify 10 years of feelings? Only now I realize, I feel nothing but calm and numb inside. Maybe it's a sign of extreme pain, or maybe it's because the former me already died during all those agonizing nights. I heard Mandy pounding on the walls in the house, but I didn't stay. I turned around and left. But as soon as I got downstairs, I saw Larry standing by the car, cigarette between his lips, looking smug. Now he wasn't pretending to be polite like he was around Mandy, holding his head high. His gaze swept over my suitcase, raising an eyebrow. Break up? His plan successful, he chuckled smugly. His fingers flicked cigarette ash in my direction, and he laughed again. Gavin, you really are like a stray dog now, so pathetic. I told you back then to break up with Mandy, but you didn't listen, and look where you are now. He shook his head regretfully. Now you're out of shares too. Do you even know what you've lost? The look of challenge was the same as before. When he first joined the company, he secretly taunted me to break up with Mandy. I knew his true colors, but he was good at masking them. After provoking me, he'd play innocent in front of Mandy. Unfortunately back then, I couldn't control my temper and argued with him, leading to Mandy misunderstanding me. As my disappointment grew, he'd find new ways to provoke me. But now, seeing Larry, I wasn't as angry as before. I felt calm, almost amused that I was led by such childish tricks. It's true, love makes you irrational. Mandy genuinely cared about me, you know. The money to buy the shares came from her. Larry kept rambling on. Watching his smug face, I walked up and stood in front of him. What? Gonna hit me too? Larry raised an eyebrow, thinking I'd refrain again because of Mandy. He blew smoke in my face. I didn't speak. I grabbed the half-smoked cigarette from his hand. In his bewildered and scared eyes, I pinched his jaw. I shoved the cigarette back into his mouth. Larry spat out the cigarette butt, but not before yelping. Gavin, you're crazy, he cursed, eyes burning with rage, reaching to grab my hair. But then he saw something, and quickly withdrew his hand, scurrying over to Mandy. Mandy, Gavin just shoved a cigarette in my mouth. It burned my tongue. It hurts. He showed his burnt tongue to Mandy, like he always did to gain sympathy. Every time, Mandy would take his side, scolding me and forcing me to apologize to him. I figured it wouldn't be different this time. I didn't want to hear her nagging, so I turned to leave. But Mandy, instead of scolding me, called out hoarsely, Gavin, where are you going? Let me drive you. Her surprisingly gentle, almost pleading tone caught me off guard. Larry was stunned too, unsure he'd heard right. Mandy, he hurt me. Larry. Mandy finally looked at him, then took out her phone and transferred him some money. Her voice was unusually cold. Go to the hospital yourself. I don't have time for you right now. Larry stood frozen. He didn't leave or take the money, instead clutching Mandy's wrist, shaking it with a pout. It was his go-to move to win her over. But this time, without hesitation, Mandy shook him off. Larry collapsed to the ground, eyes filling with tears, his confidence crushed. Mandy, why are you doing this to me? Last night Larry, shut up. Mandy cut him off. I saw you provoking Gavin first. Leave now or disappear forever. Mandy was genuinely angry. Larry dared not argue. He shut his mouth, turned around, and left, dejected. Mandy watched him go, then turned to me with a voice full of regret. I'm sorry, Gavin. I didn't know before. Cut the act. Before Mandy could finish, I interrupted flatly. You knew he was provoking me, and you knew how wrongly I was treated. She saw Larry's slander and provocation as harmless jokes, playing along. Only because we're breaking up, she sided with me. Otherwise, she'd be with Larry. When I finished, Mandy was speechless. She might have wanted to explain, but no words came out. I guessed right. She danced between two people who loved her. Both want it, both don't want to let go. Don't bother sending it, just cherish what you have now. Let's just say it's been 10 years together, and this is my last piece of advice for you. No, Gavin, the one I've always loved is you. I admit I had a momentary crush on Larry, but from start to finish, my heart was always with you. As if worried I wouldn't believe her, Mandy hurriedly rummaged through her bag and, after a while, took out a diamond ring, holding it up for me to see. It was our wedding ring, the one she threw away before. I didn't expect her to pick it up again. Mandy grabbed my hand and slowly slid the ring onto my finger. It was like she was afraid I'd refuse, gripping my hand tightly. Our feelings were always there, just temporarily lost in a fog. But when the fog clears, I can still see the direction and recognize who is truly important. She was trying to win me back with the ring and our past. But quickly, her smile froze. The ring was too big, obviously not fitting like it used to. I wasn't surprised at all. Seems the ring was resized by Mandy after it was lost. I chuckled. Mandy looked flustered and helpless. The ring can be fixed. It'll be back to the original soon. She muttered to herself. I ignored her. She seemed to realize the futility, finally breaking down. I'm going to confront him. She picked up her phone to contact Larry, and during that time, I took the ring off my finger, put it in her hand, and walked away without a word. Gavin. She desperately shouted my name. I didn't respond, just drove away. Through the rearview mirror, I saw Mandy chasing after the car with tears in her eyes. In that moment, I saw a reflection of myself in her. With Larry around for so many years, wasn't I the same? Chasing after her over and over, forced to break down each time. But unlike me, with Larry there, she'll probably bounce back quicker. I thought it was the end for me and Mandy, but I underestimated her determination to keep me. Soon after I arrived at the airport, there was an announcement. My flight was delayed 4 hours due to some passenger issues. Many passengers switched their flights angrily, but I wasn't in a hurry, so I decided to wait in the lounge. My home is far from here. After graduation, I wanted to go back home for work. Many high-paying jobs had reached out to me even before graduation. But for Mandy, I decided to stay and came here with her. I didn't really know the city, but for her, I developed a fondness for it. Now everything has settled. I was pondering how to explain things to my parents, not noticing the lounge was emptying out. Until I realized the oddity, I was the only one left. I felt a bit lost, checking the time. Almost an hour remained, but through the glass, I saw some security lookalikes talking to someone. Thinking they might want to check something, I stood up. Just as I was about to head out, a group of well-dressed people with huge bouquets of flowers walked in one after another. Gavin, please forgive Mandy. She knows she was wrong and wants to take you back home. They all recited emotionally in unison. I frowned upon hearing Mandy's name and realized this was her doing. The commotion caught a lot of people's attention. Many pointed and whispered, eyes filled with envy. I remembered how Mandy confessed to me. That Christmas Eve, surrounded by heart-shaped candles and falling rose petals. She held a big bouquet of roses, grabbing everyone's attention. I was touched and surprised, almost recklessly accepted her confession. Over the years, after every argument, I'd soothe myself with that memory. But now it just felt tiresome. Momentary excitement turned into years of pain. A bad trade. I just stood there, unmoved. It didn't take 2 minutes before two figures walked in again. Who else but Mandy and Larry? From an angle where Mandy couldn't see, Larry was both jealous and furious, glaring at me. In the next second, he knelt before me. Gavin, I know I was wrong before. Please forgive me, don't leave Mandy. Mandy loves you so much, and I'm willing to step aside for you and Mandy. His words were ambiguous. His tone sounded as if he endured great injustice. I looked up towards Mandy, seeing the eagerness in her eyes. I guessed Larry's reluctant apology was at her request. I gave a self-deprecating laugh. I realized this was probably the first time Mandy sacrificed him in choosing between us to keep me. Meeting my gaze, Mandy pulled a slight smile. "You can go," she said softly to Larry. Hearing that, Larry got up hurriedly, persuaded me a couple more times before leaving. Still, as he walked behind Mandy, he looked back at me with cold eyes. "Gavin, I had Larry apologize to you, and the company has fired him. You won't see him again at work. Come back with me, all right?" She took a big bouquet of roses from someone nearby, offering it to me like she did in the beginning. "Let's go back to how we were when we started and start over, okay?" She looked at me intently, eyes full of hope. I took the roses from her hand. Mandy's eyes lit up for a second before I flatly spoke. "You seem a bit overconfident. If we were to start all over again, do you really think I'd agree to be with you?" After I said that, I dropped the rose I was holding into the trash can beside me, watching her anxious eyes. She seemed to sense I would do that, so she wasn't surprised. Still, there was a flicker of disappointment in her eyes that soon disappeared. She quickly put on a bright smile again, started rummaging through her bag, and said, "It's okay. I'll still show you how sincere I am. I bought a house as a makeup gift for us. Didn't you say you wanted lots of pictures in our new place? I specifically picked out a camera and bought tons of frames. We'll make a photo wall, and to make you feel secure, I'll even hand over the deed to you. It will be ours." She got anxious as she looked through her bag, saying, "The deed was just in here." Her face turned worried as she hurriedly searched. Eventually, she turned the whole bag over. Everything was there except for the deed. "It was just here," she said as she frantically searched again. I glanced at my watch. "Sorry, I need to board soon. I don't have time to watch you perform," I said coldly. Mandy seemed like she wanted to say something, but when our eyes met, whatever hope she had vanished. All she saw in my eyes was indifference and sarcasm. "If it's gone, it's gone. No amount of effort, no holding on, would bring it back." I left those words ambiguous, but I knew Mandy understood. Tears welled up in her eyes again, full of regret. In one day, she'd cried too many times, and her swollen eyes almost made me forget the proud, cool Mandy I once knew. "I'm leaving." I calmly walked past her. Realizing there was no hope, she collapsed to the floor and cried hysterically. I didn't pay any more attention, ignoring the stares and confused chatter around me, walking briskly to the gate for my next chapter. Back home, Mandy occasionally sent me messages, sharing pieces of her life, like the sweet soy milk near her office, or a colleague complaining about the canteen food, or discovering a stray kitten during a late-night run. She even sent a photo saying she adopted it. Sometimes, her messages would take me back to our honeymoon phase. We were far apart but constantly shared our lives. Even after ending the long-distance bit, we'd talk almost every day until Larry came into the picture. Then, her messages became less frequent. After that, I was the only one still sharing while she stayed put. I used to be just like she is now. A few days later, I deleted her social media contact, but she found a new way to reach me. One night, she drunk dialed me, crying and calling me heartless, cold-blooded, for leaving her. She cursed me with everything she had, ending with, "Gavin, I miss you so much." A week later, I got a text. Mandy told me she's getting married to Larry. It wasn't surprising. I was busy with my promotion at work. After returning home, I landed a promising job and became a manager in just 3 months because of my previous experience. I congratulated her, and later heard from friends about her grand wedding with Larry. But on that day, they fought publicly. Mandy accidentally pushed Larry down some stairs, leading to a hospital visit. News of the scandal spread like wildfire. I found out later that Larry had messed up a deal. Mandy asked him to apologize, but instead, he threw a drink at the client, ruining the partnership and tarnishing her company's name. Mandy tried to fix things while socializing a lot, whereas Larry complained about the lack of attention and misused company funds. Mandy was furious, but Larry claimed to be sick and in need of treatment. With no other choice, she married him. During the wedding, Larry caused another scene, after which Mandy finally snapped. The situation spiraled out of control. Larry ended up in jail for embezzlement, following Mandy's lawsuit against him. People said Mandy declared bankruptcy and vanished afterward, never seen again. But on the day she disappeared, I got a delivery in her name. It contained a property deed listing me as the owner of a mansion and a perfectly fitting diamond ring.